Greetings, Internet. I'm Andy. Welcome to my studio. Today we are going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the reboot, the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the music, and in specific, some guitar solos that I added to the scores this season in 2019. Um, so let's dive in. Today, if you want to see about, or if you want to learn about the studio or some of my other process, like what you're looking at besides just this guitar stuff, do check out the rest of the channel. There's all kinds of goodies in there. If there's not, there will be. Subscribe up and you won't miss a thing. You can learn all kinds of cool stuff. So, what we have here is they decided to do a reboot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series on this year, 2019. Maybe it was 18 started, I don't know, but this stuff for me was 19. And they rebooted it for Nickelodeon, and I happen to have a friend who is a phenomenal musician and composer who has been doing all sorts of awesome work in this arena, and he took on the Ninja Turtle project from the get-go and has been doing amazing work with it. It's stupendous. If you haven't seen it, get on Nickelodeon, check out some Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Super cool stuff. I, of course, grew up with Ninja Turtles, big fan, so it was super cool that this stuff came around. I'm 45, if that gives you any reference. So, I was born in 74. But Turtles were always around. It's really cool stuff. And so when Matt called and said, hey, man, we've got some guitar work for you. You up for it? I was like, well, absolutely, I'm up for it. Let's dive right in. And so this was a really fun project and challenge. I ended up doing a couple of pieces for Turtles projects this year with Matt, and this one I think was great to kick it off with. And so I'll break it down for you. Basically, Matt sends me a video that's got the animated cut and his cut, and so and it's already animated, so there's a bear in this scene. I'll break it down a little bit in a minute. But there's a bear who's playing a guitar, and he's doing like crazy cool solo and stuff. And so my job is then to get a solo happening in the music that matches what this bear is doing. It's convincing, and looks like, yeah, that's what's going on. So Matt, of course, has made this phenomenal music bed for me to play on top of. So that in itself is just an afternoon of great fun. And so I ended up doing 14 takes of this bear's performance. 16 takes, actually. I landed on the 14th. Looks like that's the one that's in here. I did complete this project not in this room, not in this studio, but in my house. This is a new detached studio we built this year next to the house. I did this in the old home studio in the bedroom, and which is why I started out. Interestingly enough, you see sitting behind me here, we have this nice Bogner Duende, tube monster, awesome guitar amp head. And that, of course, it's my baby. I love it. As much as you love your child, if you have children. And I, would always probably, play and use this thing. For this day, this stuff came in, and I'm in the bedroom. My wife was probably in the room next to me working. She has an important job. She's on the phone a lot, and I try not to disturb her. That's kind of why we built this studio next to the house. And she was doing her thing and whatever, and so I probably was doing mine in headphones. And so that, at that time, would have put me working in a modeling amp to get going on this project. And so, yeah, I probably wanted to jump in and figure out what was happening and see what I was liking or not liking, just get things going. And then later on when, it's appropriate, fire up the amp and get the track recorded. And so this would have been S gear and was S gear. So S-Gear is an amp modeling thing. It comes from the fine boys at Scuffham Amps, or software, I don't know, but it's a Scuffham product, Scuffham. It's fantastic. Came bundled in the Slate Everything bundle. I am a Slate Everything user. I love their stuff. See my other videos if you want to see like really good details about using that stuff and making records, how to make a record in your home or at home. Is on my channel. It's a whole series that I break down my last record and all the stuff that's went into how to make it. Lots of Slate stuff, but they right now in 2019 they switched to an amp modeler called THU from Overloud, and it's gangbusters, balls amazing. This is still really great modeler too. This was just before, and it's still in my rig, so that's cool. So this is S-Gear, and I am in a preset called Scooped Wayfarer, and I do believe that is some type of like a Fender model. It's like a Blues Junior, a Hot Rod Deluxe, or something. I don't know. It's got a lot of gain. There's like two different lead voicings, I think, but anyways, I am running also. Grab my little camera here and I'll show you. So it's this Strat that went through this green Joyo Dyna compressor. That was a recommendation from my good buddy, old friend, fantastic musician. Whoops, look at that. That was a good trick, wasn't it? It's probably a good thing that's a GoPro. Michael Peck, who lives in Johnson City, Tennessee, or has a nice brewery in Bristol called damn this camera. So I'm gonna leave this in here like this. I think everything's still rolling. You guys probably don't care, but Elder Brew is the name of my pal's brewery. Hi, I'm adjusting check it out, man. So this is how stuff goes down in the real world. This is my mic stand, or my camera stand right now. Tripod, you could say. Is the Slate VMS. I told you I'm a Slate user, so put that back there. You can almost see my guitar still, so that's fine. Yeah, that Joyo Dyna compressor, $30, dude, for that compressor. Great transparent compressor. Thank you, Michael Peck. Check out Michael's stuff everywhere, in Peck Music or something like that. And go check out a brew at Elder Brew in Bristol, Tennessee, award-winning beers. And so this is the tone we're pulling out of this guy. Let that loose. Yay. And so that's that. So what we start with, that is noisy. It's as high gain, as full of gain as you can get. I just remembered that camera's been tumbling all over the place. It's kind of hilarious. So let's hear what we got. Break down the scene for you. I probably don't need to be holding this guitar. I like this guitar though. Who doesn't like an American Strat? Like, whew, bomber. Strat Deluxe, or no, it's a standard Strat. It's got DiMarzio pickups in it though that are super butter. Whew, I really like them. That's the injectors in both the bridge and the neck too. I think it's just the standard in the middle. Anyways, let's break down this scene. So, scene comes in. What we have here is there's a birthday party going on. I might get this wrong. People might crucify me. Hey, dude, I'm just a guy, okay? And this was a while, like a year ago that I did this. So, best as I can remember, we have Turtles are at a birthday party of some sort, and the bad guys in this scene are like these animatronic guys, just like at Chuck E. Cheese back in the day. You know, these robot guys that play the instruments, you know. And so there's this thing going on. The main robot thing is a bear, and the bear is Alberto is his name. Alberto. Come on, man, that's cool. And so Alberto is the bear, and he's rocking on some guitar and stuff, and it's cool. but he's an animatronic thingamajig, and he breaks down and goes crazy. And so the smart turtle, it's always got the gadgets and fixing stuff. He runs over there. He's like, "Hey, I can fix this, man. Give me this remote." Starts doing these things. I'm going to make this guy do a killer solo. And so in comes the solo. We do all that. But somewhere therein, of course, things break down and things go awry. And the glitches out and the robot goes crazy, and that's the end of the scene. Things go nuts. And they'll have to fix it later. But you know how those turtles are. Anyway, so that brings us to me and Alberto. And so me and Alberto, we're going to get it on. So what I have to work with here, I'll roll this back to the start of the project. I've got a memory point set because I was rocking through that solo, which, like I said, I did 16 times before I had one that I liked. So,
yeah.
Here's what we have.
Buongiorno, kiddies!
Buongiorno, kiddies!
Is he going to break again?
And so nothing you hear right now is from me. This is all from Matt. The
Hold
great
on
Matt
to your
Mahaffey.
birthday hat,
Check him out.
kiddies! And now, a little guitar solo. Here we go.
Heavy.
Check me out! I just did the part of the mozzarella!
Looking good, D.
Hold on. No. He should not be glitching. He should be rocking and we're rolling! Oh, the battery! Oh, I knew I forgot to change something! I can't stop him!
And so you see, that's pretty much how it goes. Easy enough, right? Simple dimple. So I knew I'd have a high gain stuff, so I have that patch that I showed you about high gain, and so I'll play you. How do we want to do this? I'll play you the final thing because it's it's on TV. You might have seen it already, and if you haven't, you can look it up. But so this is how things went. I ended up doing one, just kind of start things off, and then went into the solo a little bit later. So here's how it went.
Yeah.
There he goes. Buongiorno,
Is
kiddies.
he going to break again? Not on my watch. Again.
Again. All day long, you hear that.
Your birthday hat,
Again.
kiddies!
Again. Stop all that.
Hold on. No. He should be rocking and we're rolling!
And we're rolling.
Oh, the battery! Oh, I knew I forgot to change something! I can't stop him!
I can't stop him. Happy, dude. The music is so good. So, I mean, it's like makes it work. It makes it worth watching the show at all. That music is so good. So, I'm thinking we probably need to cut clip. Watch this. Look at that. That was so cool. So, that's how we landed. Went pretty smooth. Matt liked it. And so we ended up, I ended up never even recording again, like through the amp, the real thing. Matt heard this take 14 that I sent off of the Esker thing and was like, oh, great. That's the one. Thanks. And off it went. And that's often how things go, which is fine. But that's, I guess, a funny little point about, like, you never know. I mean, even especially probably in TV and movies too, where you're in a production environment and you're like cranking out a lot of stuff. A lot of times you're gonna, your composer's gonna go for the tool that's like fastest and easiest if it does the job. I mean, that's the key. First and foremost, it has to do the job. So long as that's happening, which, like I said, this amp's a good model, and so it worked out for this just fine. And so while I was kind of Yeah, it took me aback at first. I was like, oh crap, man, I shouldn't even have ever fooled with that stupid mother. Why don't I just get that real amp out and go? And then I realized later on, it just doesn't matter. So, and in future projects, I would use it and not use it. It's just that's how life is. It's arbitrary. The emphasis is what you put on things. If you make it a big deal, it might be a big deal. But like if it's not a big deal. So let's talk about this track. That music came in. So how do you write a solo to go over like all this trippy music? And I don't know. There's not a really easy answer. I mean, that's not the greatest solo. To be perfectly honest, there's nothing fantastic about that solo. It simply does what it's supposed to, and what it's supposed to do is fill in, and make this Alberto give an actual solo. That sounds like something he might be doing. So I listened to the vibe first of all, of course. It's got a bit of a, metal. It's very chunky, like at the start, right? Which is cool. And so that kind of sets the tone. And he's got a little bit of a little bluesy licky thing that finishes on a note that's animated. So I know I'm gonna have to hit that. I can even be rocking through this. And there was that thing there where he comes down hard. You got to hit that start kind of thing just right. And anyways, let me do it like this. That might be easier, quicker. And so yeah, you have this little moment here where he definitely hits the thing, and you got to hit that note right when his finger does that, and it's still got to work with the music too. So it's a little tricky, whatever. And later on, he does this thing where he starts dancing across the stage, and he's kind of got his own little jammy solo going on. And then he starts glitching out and goofing up. So at that point, I got to start like kind of glitching out and stuff too. There's also this section at the end, and I have a take that I called Robert Randolph, because it's kind of what I start doing in the guitar part, like over the end, if you're familiar with Robert Randolph. And it might be totally wrong. Robert Randolph might be like, dude, shut your mouth, son. That don't sound like me at all. But this like bluesy thing where you just like, just kind of wailing on a note, and you might slide up the register through, some modes or some positions, and, it just has this vibe. Like I think about it like the in Crossroads. Let's go way back to Crossroads. Everybody knows Crossroads, right? Ralph Macchio, Steve Vai, and these guys. When Steve Vai first takes off in that in jam solo, and there's that chick in the dress, and she's like dancing. I think it might be like a red dress, but she's just like, woo, just hollering. And he's kick back and arms, like. That's kind of the vibe that I feel like this is, it's like that old, like juke house kind of, wah, 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 here we go. And so that's how the end of it ended up going until it all just kind of explodes and everything. And the actual cut of the episode, somewhere right in there, I think is where like that ended up falling off, and the rest of it was just the score. But it turned out great, and so let's bounce back to the start, and I'll let you hear. Here's where we very first started. Pull the volume on the track down some so you can hear the solo, and we'll see what we got here. So I'll start it out here, actually. Let me to hear.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Again.
Hold on to your birthday hat, Kitty!
So this is obviously nonsense. And so this is my first run through. And it's probably like my 10th run through, the first one I hit record. Whatever. So then when we get up to the Robert Randolph take, so by this point I always start on that same D note, But by this point, I had worked up that section at the end. Let's see about this. So I hit that little animated note. That's good. We got that worked in, and then starting to glitch a little bit. And then yeah, we spin off and take out. I can't stop him. And so that's where that Robert Randolph business comes in at the end. And like I said, who knows? And so somewhere along the lines, we'll end up at, this is take 11. So probably even more of the things will be in place at this point. Again. Hold on to your birthday hat, kitty! Okay, so yeah, it's much more developed there. And that's by 11. And like I said, by 14, it's all worked in. And so the thing that's going on is basically, and I'll show you, if I remember right. Easy. So just some blues up in there, really. Let's see if that sounds right. Not on my watch. Hold on to your birthday hat, kitty. So that's 11. Let's go ahead and get back on the final take.
On my watch. Again.
Hold on to your birthday hat, kitty. Yeah, and it goes into that whole glitchy section. So that's how it ended up going. So you start out with a little. And that lick is always a fun and easy little blues lick to do. And you do it with an upstroke. So upstroke and then a pull off. So like that's just one pick. It's the upstroke. You're hitting that with the other one. So whoops. Get into a little groove with it. It's kind of fun. But so that worked out pretty there, and you land on, and that's when the bear is going with his thing. Now I did try to work out something more closer to the position of what the bear is actually doing with his hands. It just wasn't working out. Didn't fit with the music and stuff, and so no big deal. Nobody cares. Probably nobody would ever notice. So now from there we go into this section of where the bear's dancing across the thing, and before he starts flipping out and glitching and stuff, and so that's where we have, let's see. And then it goes into that end, and so. So, what I'll say about that stuff, this compressor adds a lot of noisy gain when I'm trying to talk. Like to me, here's just some guitar notes, you know. That's cool because there's so much tension You know, like there's certain things I think that make music cool, and I could be full of crap, man. Who knows? But certain things that make music and life cool. Tension, man. He's like really putting some stuff into that though. You like take that line where I'm walking it up through that ending, that whole ending section, you know, and it's just basically. It's like you have choices how you want to play this note. You can go. You can play it straight out the gate like that. It's just not the same as. There's a lot of life in there. Even as I just now did it, sloppy as hell, hitting the other strings. That's fine. Hit the other strings. You know, like that's part of. I think that's part of like one of the things that makes rock and roll cool. Man, back in the day, dudes were sloppy. They were playing. They were having fun. They were on stage, hammering their instruments, and I think it's oftentimes those types of things and those bits of life that really give a performance a value as a performance. So get on it, boys. And most likely, I'll see if I can find some footage because I'm sure I recorded myself doing all this stuff. I'm probably in the room there doing just that, like, because I have a problem sitting still. If you've ever seen me play like with my band, the Seth Timms thing, Seth's band, the band that I play with, I'm very fortunate to play with such awesome musicians, and so that's problematic for me because the music sometimes is complicated and difficult to play, and I can't stand still often, and I'm on stage moving too much, and so yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about that for, but so yeah, have at it, get at it, and your performance, man, I think is gonna it will you know, you'll reap that reward, that benefit, you know, will come through when you really put like 110% of your energy like into whatever that is. And so through that thing, you get to the end, and up you go and off, and it's done. And so, boom, that's the War and Pizza solo breakdown for the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that was episode, I want to say like 3 or 4. If you want to check it out, it's good stuff. Like I said, the music for the whole series is absolutely bonkers good. Matt Mahaffey is a fantastic composer. Check out his stuff, Cake and Space Music, on your socials, and you know, look for great things coming out of that shop. And so, like I said before, I'm going to do a couple more of these. I did a few more episodes of Turtle stuff. And I'll do a couple more breakdowns of what I did for the Turtle episodes and how it went down. Because they were a little bit different, not the same rig. Different stuff happened. So I'll break that down for you. And they were cool, fun, and different type things to do as well. So check back. If you don't see what you're looking for, check back the next week. And you will. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'll be getting after it pretty soon. And hopefully there'll be a lot of other stuff, you know, around you can peep as well. So hit that subscribe button, yo. You never miss a beat. Till then, peace. I don't have to stop anything. This is what real life looks like. And I don't even know why I said peace. I don't know. Anybody know me? Have I ever said peace? No, I don't say that. See, but you turn the camera on, man. Things get weird. My dog's coming in the door. Boomer. Boomer! Oh no, that door's closed. You can't get in here. Anyways, ciao. I do say